America's largest retailer, Walmart, will now accept XRP and RLUSD. We also have another $1 billion promised to buying even more XRP off the open market. I've got brand new information coming to light here on X. We're going to get into all of that. Plus, I have a ton of other Ripple and XRP news, guys. You won't want to miss this video. If you get any value, you can like the channel. You can leave a comment down below. I really appreciate you. Let's just jump right in. Walmart is a massive global retailer. They have 10,750 stores in 19 countries, and they have 2.1 million employees worldwide. In the fiscal year of 2025, it has a revenue of $681 billion, and 90% of the US population lives within 10 miles. I can tell you here in Hawaii, we have several Walmarts, and I do live within 10 miles of a Walmart. All right, here is the announcement. Breaking: CNBC just announced live that Walmart will now accept crypto, Bitcoin, ETH, XRP via one-pay cash. Let's play it.
And just the ease of which regular folks, people who go to Walmart, there are 150 million Americans who use Walmart online or in person every week, can now actually have crypto in this very same app. They can buy it, they can hold it, they can store it, they can trade it if they want. And then when they want to go pay for something, they can turn it into cash. And like we said, OnePay is actually integrated into the checkout of Walmart. So it is, I think, a milestone in that case, Carl.
All right. And so I wanted to explore this a little bit better. I wanted to say, hey, XRP is indeed gaining an important role at Walmart, because I wanted to fact check, right? Is this true? Is XRP being used at Walmart? XRP is indeed gaining an important role in Walmart's upcoming digital finance integration, but there are details that still need to clarify about XRP at Walmart. Walmart's OnePay fintech platform is rolling out direct crypto trading, initially focused on Bitcoin and Ethereum, with upcoming infrastructure integration involving Ripple's RLUSD and XRP. The rollout of OnePay cash with custody and trading provided by Zero Hash. And I'm going to show you some connections between Zero Hash, XRP, and RLUSD in just a second, which now supports RLUSD and XRP as part of Ripple's ecosystem expansion for institutional finance. This means users will soon be able to buy, hold, and potentially spend XRP and RLUSD within the OnePay system, possibly to convert their holdings to cash for purchases at Walmart. Walmart's OnePay app will offer crypto trading and custody, starting with Bitcoin and Ethereum, using Zero Hash infrastructure. Zero Hash has integrated RLUSD and has expanded support for XRP, enabling back-end settlements and increased XRP reach for institutional adoption. So here is that connection. Sensei, show me what the connection is. Here it is from Chad Steingraber. The Walmart OnePay crypto deal is with a company called Zero Hash. Guess what Zero Hash is using as a stablecoin? It is using RLUSD. So that is a very big deal. Love to see those connections. Now, let me ask you this question. Are you using your crypto to buy anything right now? Personally, me, I'm going to use my cash to buy anything that I need. I'm going to hold on to my crypto right now because I think the crypto that I hold right now is going to be worth 10x, 100x, 1000x over the next few years. So this is great. We need this infrastructure. When we do get mass adoption, we're going to be able to need to spend our crypto to buy certain things, right? And getting the infrastructure set up is very, very important. I just don't know how many people are going to use this right now. All right, let's continue here. Digital perspectives. While we wait for XRP ETF approvals, Hidden Road check. Rail Financial check. G Treasury check. Ripple Bank Charter coming. Fed Master Account coming. Now Ripple has a DAT, digital asset treasury business, checkmark. You see what's being built here, ladies and gentlemen. The infrastructure for the new financial system. Ripple is going to control a large share of it. With their collaborations and partnerships with banks all over the world, Ripple is the leading blockchain infrastructure company on the planet. There is no arguing against that. You cannot compare what Ripple has built to any other company in the blockchain space. Now, when it comes to stablecoins, Circle and Tether are a much bigger player. But when it comes to institutional level connections and partnerships, I don't think anyone does it better than the team over at Ripple. And so, we are just waiting on this information. Ripple National Trust Bank very, very soon. And this was a great post here by Finance Bull. Make sure you're giving him some support on X. He checks into the stream sometimes. Want to show him. He does a lot of really good graphs. So let's just take a look at what he built. RLUSD approved as collateral in the US derivatives market. Ripple's acquisition of Hidden Road plus CFTC greenlight equals a direct bridge into Wall Street's deepest liquidity. This is the kind of move that sets the stage for XRP shock supply. We all know when the supply of XRP is extremely decreased on exchanges, the price is going to explode. We want to see the available XRP on exchanges go below 100 million, 50 million. That is where things could get really spicy, really interesting very quickly. And this is how XRP could reach a 4-digit price or a 5-digit price. If there's no available supply, whatever is left, that is what we're going to be having to use. And so this is just showing RLUSD adoption, the RLUS integration, and kind of how all of this looks. Some people are kind of confused on maybe what this looks like. This is a great visual to really understand it. Here you have Hidden Road in the middle, Ripple, RLUSD, and then this is the Trading Commission, Futures Trading Commission, and everything around it. Pretty spicy, guys. Pretty spicy. And listen, if you want to pause the video and read all of this context, please do. I'm just going to keep moving on. There's a lot of other things that I want to get to, but I wanted to show you that this was here. All right, so Wrath Economan says, here is the 8K form from Ripple backed SPAC merger with Armada Acquisition Corp 2 to hold XRP. Ripple is named as a party in the amendment. Wrath Economan also says one clause requires Evernorth to buy XRP equal to the advance funding proceeds within 10 days of closing. The contract uses purchase, not transfer or acquire from Ripple. So I believe these are open market buys. So with Ripple's DAT, digital asset treasury service that they launched just a few days ago, I think we talked about that on Friday, Ripple could use XRP from like escrow or their personal holdings to fund some of that. This is going to require fresh buying off the open market. This is really what you want to see. Now, like I said on Friday, this is going to put pressure on other companies interested in doing that. And here we are 3 days later talking about a new company doing just like we said on Friday. Think about it. There is now this demand to set up these different digital asset treasury companies to buy even more XRP. Now, there has been some examples on Ethereum and Bitcoin that this wasn't very successful, but we haven't really tried it at scale here on the XRP ledger. And I think any buying of fresh XRP off exchanges could be a good thing for our XRP holdings. If there's less supply on the available open market, our XRP is worth more. And at the end of the day, that's what we're all fighting for. It does say the wallet will be operated by Pubco Evernorth as to function as a company whose balance sheet intentionally holds XRP as its core reserve. It will be public, regulated company. We will know the financials of this entity because it will be listed. So there's a lot of openness here. We're going to be able to see what this company is doing with the XRP and the growth. And I think that's going to be really important. This will also help other financial institutions that are interested in setting up something like this to start acting. Don't rush, but maybe it will speed up their thinking about what they're trying to do here, their strategy with XRP, and I think this is only a good thing for us. It does say the filing notes plans to shift Armada's registration from Caymans to Delaware ahead of the NASDAQ listing. Street Insider has this, but it wasn't available on the SEC site yet. And so just to show, if you missed my earlier video that I made today, this video will come out on Tuesday. I made a video on Monday about this, but if you didn't see that video, Evernorth Holdings has officially announced $1 billion capital raise focused on building what it calls the world's largest public XRP treasury, marking one of the most significant institutional moves in the XRP ecosystem to date. Overview of the deal: Evernorth Holdings, a newly formed Nevada-based company with direct ties to Ripple Labs, is going public through a SPAC merger with Armada Acquisition Corp 2, a NASDAQ-listed blank check company. Once completed, the merger entity will be publicly traded on NASDAQ under the ticker XRPN, with the transaction expected to close Q1 of 2026, pending shareholder and regulatory approvals. This is going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be interested in getting in this. You also saw SBI Holdings getting into this. You have $1 billion in proceeds with $200 million being contributed from SBI Holdings. SBI is wanting to own and buy even more share of control of XRP. You have Ripple, Ripple Works, Pantera Capital, Kraken, GSR, and Chris Larson is also at play here. Lend XRP to institutions, provide liquidity to markets, engage in DeFi yield activities using XRP, run validators on the XRP ledger, and integrate Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin as a DeFi on-ramp for institutional operations. And also, Finance Bull says, you're not bullish enough. The new $1 billion public company Evernorth will buy XRP off the open market to build the world's largest institutional XRP treasury. Now look who's running it. Former Ripple GM who led the adoption of MoneyGram, and Bitso, ex-head of strategic capital at Bank of America who managed $8 billion in balance sheet capital, legal chief with leadership at Gemini, Amex, American Express, and Bitcoin Legal Defense Fund, a fintech builder who launched card payment rails used by Coinbase and Venmo. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse and CTO CTO David Schwartz are advising, these aren't just insiders, they're architects for the next financial rails. They're building billions worth of XRP to lock supply and scale adoption before the public even wakes up. Capital markets are shifting. XRP is the settlement layer. Repost if this changed how you see XRP. Let's just, let's give him some love. Let's repost. We'll help him out, my man. Let's go. And so here are the people behind this. We did read a lot of this stuff. You have Ashish Burla. You have Matt Freemer here, Meg Nakamura, Brad Garlinghouse, David Schwartz, Jessica Jonas, and Shagar Shah. So a lot of people involved in this, guys. Love to see this adoption. Also, the Wolf of Ross Street, Scott Melker, says Ripple XRP CTO David Schwartz to join the new XRP treasury firm Evernorth. And then Mr. Kwok says everything you need to know about the first ever XRP treasury, 1 billion purchases made off the open market. Major investors are SBI, Ripple, and Chris Larsen and other people. Provided stock market investors to exposure to XRP. Long-term goal, drive XRP utility and adoption. The catalyst of the adoption and institutional of XRP ledger. And you also are seeing the XRP ledger being a home of real world assets. And this is starting to grow day after day. You start to wonder, where is this going to be 6 months, 12 months, 5 years down the line? And the reason adoption of real world assets has been so slow, it really is to do with regulators and regulations and jurisdictions. Being able to move something digitally from one part of the world to another where it is recorded legally has been an issue. And so it's one thing to get everybody on the same infrastructure where you're going to be able to send the payments, but it's another thing to get everybody on the same jurisdictions so that value can move seamlessly behind the scenes. So it's the value moving instantaneously, and it's the legal authority of that value being traded from person to person. And that is what's been really slow. So once that really gets figured out, I would imagine this at scale is going to be pretty incredible. You also have some other news, man. X-Finance Bull is on fire. He said Federal Reserve is hosting a full day summit on payment innovation. Chainlink CEO will be there. BNY, Ripple Partner will be there. Circle, Coinbase, Stripe, JP Morgan, BlackRock, and more will also be there. A lot of interesting things happening in the space. And Bill Morgan also said something happened 5 days ago. RLUSD shot up to 874 million. Just remember, 90% of RLUSD is on Ethereum. We do need to see more development here on the XRP ledger, but a lot of really incredible things are happening in the space, guys. If you are bullish, let's get a like and a comment on the video. If you like this video and you want to share it with a friend, I'd really appreciate that. I love your support. I hope you have a fantastic week ahead. I'll see you next time. Aloha.